Got to get rid of that visor. That's too much of a drop. I don't like that. I'd like to have a... What?
That's the perfect.
That's too much.
You got to sit in the basement.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So we're at Dad's shop, and we've got our 1988 379 Peterbilt here. And I briefly showed you this project in a video. This truck's got a 3406B CAT engine in it. It's supposed to be at 425 horse, but it's probably a little more than that. I actually bought this off of a friend of mine, and he didn't really want to sell it, but he told me if I wanted it, he knew I'd take care of it, and he was okay with selling it to me. So we bought it knowing it had a problem. We weren't sure if it was a head gasket issue or a cracked liner issue, and it turned out to be a cracked liner issue. In fact, I got the liner that was cracked right here, and I'll show you. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a crack right there in the liner, and this engine also suffered from some electrolysis issues. As you can see, the deep pitting in there. Now, electrolysis basically is just electrical charge that goes through the coolant. It causes things to pit and rust and erode. That's a whole nother thing you can get into. If somebody in the comments below wants to explain electrolysis, they can go ahead and get in depth and explain it. But I don't have time right now in this video. So the problem is now that this engine is a wet sleeve engine, meaning wet sleeves. It gets water right up against the sleeves that the pistons run in. So, not really water, but antifreeze, you know what I mean. So, another way to prevent electrolysis is to run a good conditioner in your coolant, and that helps cut down on it. So anyways, being it has water right against the sleeves, means that you have to seal these sleeves, or liners, whatever you want to call them, you have to seal them in the block. So in order to do this, it has O-rings down here, and these fit tight up here in the block, and it seals it all up. The problem is right now, is down here, we have some pitting in the block caused by the electrolysis. So in this video, we're going to fix that. We're going to use some 1511 Belzona epoxy. This is a high heat epoxy. We're going to use this to repair where these O-rings sit and seal everything back up so we don't have water in our oil. Now, this truck actually didn't have any water in the oil, but we know that this is going to be an issue after pulling these out and looking at where the O-rings sit. So this is an old liner, and this is a brand new liner. This is what they're supposed to look like, right there. And don't leave these lay on their side because they'll oval out. Keep them standing straight up and down like that. Alright, so I'll show you what's going on here. Wilson's over here doing a CAT scan already. We'll show you what is getting pitted down in here. Let me get my pry bar pointer here. So as you can see down in here, let me see if I can go in through here. Yeah, there we go. See at the tip of my pocket pry bar? See where that pitting's at? That's what we need to fix. And that's what the Belzona is going to fix. So we got to get that stuff mixed up. We're going to get it smeared in there. This one's not too bad. This one's not too bad. It seems like it's more towards the front. Number one and number two seem to be the worst. So we'll get that Belzona smeared in there, and then we'll show you how we're going to clean it back out and leave a smooth surface. We're going to start mixing up our Belzona. So this is the base. So we need 165 grams of this, and this is a solidifier. So we need 33 grams of this. So you mix it 5 parts to 1 part. So 5 parts of this to 1 part of this, and you mix it by weight. And this is what we think the amount we need is. So this should do us. So open this up. Got our scale on 0. 78 grams. $119. $154. Oh. There we go. So for these two little bowls here, it's $511. So I really don't want to screw this up, or I'm probably going to get yelled at. Now I need 33 grams of this. So we're going to zero out our scale. Now we'll add our 33 grams. There we go. Now we got to mix all this. Down with our scale. Get it mixed up. Alright, so we got this all mixed up. That's what it's supposed to look like. You want to smear it thin. It makes it not set up as fast. So now we can take it over and we can start fixing our block with it. Alright, so I did the first one just as a trial run. I'm going to do the second cylinder here. Just smear this in. I'm just using a little Bondo scraper. Get it in there. Work it around a little bit, especially in our real troubled spots. Let it sit there for a second, and then I'll try to squeegee it off the best I can. Not much room to work in here. So the whole thing about the liners ovaling out, Dad calls bullshit on. So leave your thoughts in the comments below if that is really a thing. A friend of ours that is a cat mechanic told us that. We're not sure if he was just joking or if he's being serious, but I've never really heard of that. There we go. So now we'll let that sit up for a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll sand it off. You can keep recording if you want to. We'll do one more. It's kind of an odd position to work in. It's a little hard on the wrist. Luckily, this is only a 6-cylinder. A little more on that side. There we go. Yeah, I'll clean it up. Did I miss some? There we go. All right. 3 more to go. Well, we got it all worked in the block where we wanted it, and we cleaned up our tools that we used to mix it with, our mixing board, our mixing knife. Basically, for cleanup, you're supposed to use acetone, but I'm out of acetone here in the shop, and I didn't want to go steal it from my mom. Figured I'd steal her nail polish remover. That is acetone, but we'll leave that alone today. Bad enough I stole her deep fryer a year or so ago to do the axle bearings in the John Deere 2940. Used her deep fryer to heat them up. But anyways, we just used brake clean, cleaned everything up just fine. Had George fashion us a nice little mold for the rest of the Belzona, and we're going to let that set up, and we're going to do a little activity that I seen done with this Belzona. A guy actually took it and he drilled it and tapped it, put a 3/8 bolt in it, and I think he torqued it to 50 foot-pounds. So we're going to see if we can do that at the end of this video, but it's going to have to set up for quite a while because that's a pretty thick amount in there, and we'll sand it off and we'll drill it and tap it. So we're going to let that set up there in a block for a while, and then we're going to come back with a flap disc wheel out of a bench grinder in the drill, and we're going to use that to actually sand that back smooth to get our areas for our O-rings to set comfortably. So I want to thank Tyler for being here today, for doing some video work for me. You also know him as Brick. He's off today because of the cold weather. They can't work, so he figured he'd come and hang out in the shop for a while today. So good to have him around. Haven't seen him in a while. We've all been so busy that we've kind of lost contact. So all right, we'll let that cure and we'll try to polish it up. Well, we're back at Dad's next morning after we put the Belzona in this block. We're gonna check it out, see how it turned out. We got busy working on Little Richard's swing motor yesterday and didn't come back to this. So it only takes 6 hours for this to cure to the point where you can actually sand it, and we are well over that at this point. It gives you 50 minutes to work with it. So 6 hours before you can sand it and 50 minutes to apply it. So it looks real good. It stayed in all the spots where it needed to. They all look real nice. Looks real good. Now we can sand it, smooth it out, and get it ready for the liners to go back in. Okay, so we're gonna get started on this first hole here, number 1 cylinder. What we have here is a 6-inch flap disc or flap sanding wheel. It's 80 grit. We found these at Harbor Freight, believe it or not. We checked everywhere in Knox, checked Napa, O'Reilly's, all them. They didn't have them, they couldn't get them. So the new location of Harbor Freight opened up in Plymouth, Indiana. So I got on their website and they had them. And they had them in stock there in Plymouth. So we ran up there and get them. I took just a bolt, stuck through here with a nut, and then I had a chuck, and I bought an extension from Harbor Freight, and this chuck already had the just the 1/4-inch hex shaft to put it in a drill. And I actually had that chuck for some extensions I made to try to hone out a cylinder tube. So I had it laying around already. So now we're just going to take cordless drill and we're going to go down in here and we're going to polish these back out. This 6-inch wheel fits perfect down in here. See how it looks. I don't want to go too much. Oh, that's looking real nice. Oh yeah, I like that. Now we'll just go through and we'll do all the holes. I think it's going to work out real well. So I'll set the camera up so you can see better as I do these. Okay, we're going to work on number 2, and not all of them, number 2 is the worst. So as you can see, this fits down in there real nice. Just like so. What it looks like. Oh yeah, smoothed it out real nice in there. Left them pits full of the Belzona. This is going to turn out real nice. Now you are going to see some metal because the metal is the high spots and we want to leave those, but we want to leave the Belzona in the low spots. And it's doing exactly what it should. So now we can move on to the other ones. So when I was applying the Belzona in there, I had a glob of it that fell off and it landed on the crankshaft, not on a journal or anything. But I went ahead and I got it out of there with my glove, and I couldn't get off my glove, so I poked it here on the power steering pump. I mean, look how tough this is. You literally can file it. Pretty impressive stuff, really. I'm pushing pretty hard to get results with the file. That's interesting stuff. So we started sanding these, and we realized that around the top where the O-rings need to go down into the bore down there, they were kind of rough, and our 6-inch wheel here wasn't really getting that top part. So went back to Harbor Freight and ended up getting another one of these wheels just in case we needed one for the other 3 cylinders, because it was wearing just a little bit. And while we were there, I picked up this little Bauer kind of a, I don't know what they're calling, variable speed precision crafting rotary tool, Dremel I suppose, but it's nice and small to fit down in the hole. And I got one of these flat disc wheels. It's a Dremel 80 grit. Picked that up at Lowe's because actually Harbor Freight didn't have any. And it's actually working really good to go down in there and get around the top of that bore and clean that sharp edge of the Belzona off. I mean, it takes a little time, but You know, slow and steady wins the race. So this is what I'm using to clean these up a little bit. And it also fits down the block, so you can go in through these holes and get a little bit of different angle on parts of the cylinders. So we just want to make sure that's smooth around the top so it's not nicking our O-rings when they go in. Now we will put dish soap on them O-rings to slick them up, to get them to slide in there. So they will have a little bit of lubricant with them. You don't want to use a petroleum product on them. The only thing is, you can't really labor this little rotary tool too hard or it will shut off. So you can't really just press against it real hard, but you really don't have to. Just kind of let it do its job all the way around there. So we got that one looking pretty good. There's no sharp edges. That should be good. So Tyler and I are going to work on doing the rest of these and see if we can't get them finished up today and be ready to reassemble this engine. So we'll do that probably in another video. So, ready to get it finished up? Yep. Okay, we're gonna get it finished up. Well, we're down to our last hole. Tyler's working on getting that one cleaned up. All the rest of them turned out real nice. It's really hard to tell with the camera, but they are smooth. I'm gonna go through, I did the first two, but I'm taking Scotch-Brite and I'm scrubbing them really good with that just to smooth out some even more, you know, just imperfections from the 80 grit. But they're looking really good. Should be perfectly fine to get these liners put back in. We got to put the liners in, we got to measure the liner height and all that stuff. So there's quite a bit left to do, but it's a good thing to be moving forward with this project, get this truck back together. And there are some other things that need to be fixed on it, like I don't know if you've seen in the videos, it needs windshields, new rubber around the windshields. Got to get rid of that visor. That's too much of a drop. I don't like that. I'd like to have a, what?
That's the perfect.
That's too much.
You got to sit in the basement.
I don't like sitting in the basement. That's too much. We got to get a little shorter one. We'll get another one for it. So
just get a reverse bow tie.
You know, I thought about that. I seen that on a truck and it looked really nice. So
yeah, I like them.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe leave in the comments below what visor we should get for this truck and what other accessories we should get for this truck. I mean, it's a good looking truck. We want to do full deck plates on it and get the frame all covered up. It was a sleeper truck at one time, but it was supposedly sitting in a landfill, and a truck next to it had a dump trailer, and that truck was dumping, and the dump trailer fell over on this truck and crunched the sleeper. So that's why they ended up putting the day cab kit in it. And it turned out really nice. I mean, you can't even tell that this was really a sleeper truck other than, you know, the long frame and the tank sitting back here and stuff. But it's a nice truck, just needs some TLC here and there, and we'll get her whipped back into shape. So Tyler's about done in that hole. Things are looking good. So anyways, thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. We're going to head over to my shop and do some things over there the rest of the day once we're finished up with this last hole. Got little Richard over there tore apart. Got his swing motor tore out. And we're putting a swing box seal in that so we don't have to add oil every time we use him. So that's been a good project for these cold days. It's -3 out right now this afternoon, so it's been rather cold around here. But as soon as it warms up again, we've got plenty of excavating work piled up. Got some ditch work we gotta do. Got a pond we need to dig and move that dirt up into my buddy Mike's cow lot to build that up so his cows aren't sinking in the muck anymore. Got pretty wet this summer, and he had a couple cows out there, and it's muck and peat moss, and one got stuck pretty good. So we're gonna haul the sand up from the pond and build that all up for him. So that's a project we're gonna do. So a lot of things to look forward to. And then in a few months, spring planting. The farming cycle starts all again. So excavating and farming. So, and then still moving forward with things at the new place. So got all that to look forward to, and projects in the new shop. So anyways, thank you for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one. Have a good evening or morning. All depends on where you are at around the world. Right, Tyler?
Right.
Yep.
Roll the intro.
All right, Wilson, come here. You want to do the intro? Whatever that means. All right.